Hey everybody, welcome to Jeannie's jumper cables. I'm really loving these jumper cables. I'll tell you I do, because I'm all about giving you a boost. I'm in really good mood today. Today I celebrate 3 weeks of eliminating things in my life that I didn't need anymore. And so I'm very proud of myself. Oh, yes I am. I'm very expressive about things. So I've decided with doing this that I'm going to share some stories with you about my past and my future and things that's changed my life. And there's one particular individual that I really want to tell you about. And his name is Timmy. Years ago, I got a job working with individuals who had developmental disabilities and dual diagnosis. And I ended up being led to work with Timmy. I asked Timmy's family for permission to say his name in this video, so I do have permission. Unfortunately, Timmy is gone. We lost Timmy a little while back. I can't remember the exact date. It kind of hurts to talk about it now. I wasn't with Timmy when he passed away, and I'm kind of glad because I don't know how I would have handled it. But back to the good part. Timmy taught me more than I would have ever taught him. To explain to you about Timmy, Timmy was legally blind. Timmy had epilepsy and had multiple seizures daily, sometimes more than you'd care to count. Timmy hallucinated a lot. Timmy was diagnosed with schizophrenia when he was young. When Timmy was a teenager, they found a tumor on his brain, and when they took it off his brain, they took it off of the frontal lobe development area. And Timmy developed some issues after that. The schizophrenia came in his teen years, and then he ended up losing his hearing and his eyesight. Now, Timmy could hear just a slight bit, and boy, could he hear me. All my life, I thought, that me being loud was like, such a downfall for me. I heard that all my life, Jeannie, you're so loud. But when I walked into the house to work with Timmy, I realized that me being loud was a blessing. Timmy could hear me, and I could sit next to him, and he could make sense of what I was saying. Now, I will say, with him being blind, his senses were extra, on peak about things. So where he was blind, his other senses picked up, were very strong. So he could really sense my tone when I sit down to talk to him. For instance, when I came in the morning, just saying good morning to Timmy, he would respond sometimes and say, "Oh, hell, she must have been in an argument with her husband last night." And he would say that a lot. Now, sometimes that wasn't the case, but sometimes it was. And I could be trying to convince him, "Timmy, I'm not in a bad mood. I'm in a good mood. And he, don't you lie to me. I can tell." But back to the story. So I worked with Timmy for several years. And I was Timmy's assistant, his direct support assistant. I helped Timmy walk. Timmy had a very bad gait. And he had a lot of bone issues where, he took a lot of medicine, and that medicine ate at his bones. And so we had to be very careful with him. If Timmy broke a leg, what would take you 6 weeks to heal might take Timmy 18 to 20. And because of that, we had to be very careful with him. Timmy also wore a helmet. He didn't like his helmet. He hated it. But he had to wear a helmet when he was up on his feet because of the tumor on his brain and them taking it off. God forbid if he would have fell and hit his head, it might have hurt him even worse. So that helmet, I'll never forget his helmet because he sure hated that thing. So back to my subject. I'm telling you a story about Timmy today because, again, Timmy taught me more than I would have ever taught him. Timmy taught me to see with my heart, not with my eyes. And I'm sharing that with you because I see so much hate in this world today, and we need to be loving each other. I see it on social media all the time. For instance, I'm seeing so much hate over this JoJo Swy thing, It's okay if people want to be gay. What's it to you? People are supposed to be happy. People are supposed to be helping each other. For instance, we just had this election, and I'm still seeing nothing but hate, and people's opinions all over Facebook. And, opinions are like assholes. We all have one, right? So can we just cut that out? Like, why are we doing that? What's that benefit you? Don't you feel a sense of, negativity when you do that? Because I do. It's why I don't talk about it. So, but back to Timmy. So, Timmy loved country music. Old country music, like Red Sovine and old Charlie Daniels and things like that. He used to sing to me all the time. Here comes the bride, all fat and wide, and the all rest of it. But Timmy, boy, did Timmy love to swing. I could put him on a swing, and he would not want to get off that swing. You know, like a porch swing you sit on. But so back to my point of this again. When I took Timmy to meet to see his neurologist once a month, I started to get to know his neurologist, and that was Dr. Wheatley. And Dr. Wheatley started teaching me a lot about Timmy. And the most important thing that he taught me about Timmy that I want to teach you is that seeing is believing. Dr. Wheatley actually asked me one time if I believed in ghosts. And I was like, yeah. And he said, so why do you believe in ghosts? And I was like, I really don't know. I just know I believe in them. And he says, well, I'll tell you, there's two kinds of people in this world. There's people that believe in ghosts and people that don't. And the people that do is because they've seen something or they know something. And in the brain, seeing is believing. So for Timmy, whatever he was seeing when he was going through his hallucinations, that was real for him. And so that really helped me in working with him because he hallucinated a lot. Timmy might smell smoke or, thought he was seeing smoke in the house. And trying to convince him that the house wasn't on fire was like pulling teeth sometimes. But then I started thinking outside the box when Dr. Wheatley taught me that about how the brain works. I'd kind of get him up and walk him over to the walls and have him feel of the walls. And then he would feel that the walls wouldn't be hot. And then he'd be like, well, hell, you must have put the fire out. And, so that kind of gave me an up with him. He thought I was kind of a superstar at sometimes when I wasn't. I was just, trying to help him out and make him feel better. And he would have some really deep hallucinations sometimes. It was a coping skill for him as I learned going through mental health. But with that said, Timmy could see shadows of things, like he might hallucinate that sometimes I was a woman that, was hurting somebody. And he might get upset about that and cuss at me or something. And then, after we would talk about it later and he was not hallucinating about it, I would be like, Timmy, why did you react the way you did? And he'd be like, well, hell, I didn't know that was you. That was that other woman. And so learning that about him helped me to see that we don't always see things for what they are. I will tell you that when I would sit down and talk to him, sometimes he would tell me that he, like, for instance, I would walk up and he'd be talking to his mother who had passed away and, just having a full-on conversation with her. And we would, I'd walk up and talk to him, like, Timmy, who you talking to? Mama. And, in the past when I'd started working with him, there was other people that worked with him and that would tell him that she wasn't there, and they would try to more or less make him feel like he wasn't talking to her. Well, I didn't do that. And I'll tell you why I didn't do that. Because I didn't know she wasn't there. And I honestly feel like she did come visit him. Because he would sit and talk to her, about his sisters and his brother and his daddy and everything. And it gave him such comfort. And I didn't want to interrupt in that. And that always gave me a sense of, that was something so great for him. It was amazing what he taught me. He taught me so much, like, I can't express to you enough how working with somebody who doesn't have an ability that you have will really make your abilities stand out at what you can do. And that goes back to gratitude. I'm a firm believer in being grateful for things. If you, have gratitude for stuff, you won't feel so bad. If anything that 2020 has taught us, it's what we should be grateful for, right? Grateful for time with our families. Grateful for hugs. Lord, do I miss hugging people. I'm such a hugger that COVID has shut me down. Like, it's so hard not to squeeze people. And I'm a Pisces too, so I'm big on love and I'm big on feeling. And I'm sick of this. I'm sick of not hugging people. So here's my hug for you. And this is a whole lot why I'm doing Jeannie's jumper cables. I'm decided that I'm going to motivate however I can. I want to do what I can to help women and men for that, whatever it is you need. We all need a little boost. And I'm sorry if I keep going back and forth from one thing to another. I just get a little excited about doing this now. And I just want to tell you that although Timmy's not here anymore, he's always with me. Especially when I go through the line at McDonald's. He loved the McDonald's hamburger. And he'd be like, Jeannie, get me McDonald's hamburger. Be sure you get me Coca-Cola. And he didn't like it if you didn't get him no Coca-Cola. He loved his Coca-Cola. But, God, I miss that man. So I want to say this. This is my point of this whole story. Try seeing with your heart instead of your eyes, okay? Eliminate the hate, people. Eliminate the negativity. You have so much to be grateful for. Can you see? Do you wake up every morning and can you see your family? Guess what? You got something to be grateful for. Yes, you do. Can you stand on your 2 feet without help? Because he couldn't. You got something to be grateful for. Can you walk around without somebody having to help you and worry about falling and breaking something? Then you got something to be grateful for. Do you see things that ain't there? Think about that one. You have something to be grateful for. We never know what's coming around the corner at us. And I never knew what was going to come for me when I walked into that house to work with Timmy. And I still feel him. Although I'm not with him anymore. He's with me. And so I'm doing this video in honor of him. And I'm sorry, it's hard not to talk about him without crying. God, I love you, Timmy, and I miss you so much. But I want to tell you this. Be grateful for your life. Be grateful for every minute of it. Be grateful for your abilities because you have so many. And stop all this crap in the world about what you don't have or what you need to do. And do it. Just do it because I'm doing it. So with that, that's my story today. It's about Timmy and how he boosted me with his jumper cables. I connected with him and he gave me so much power, and I'm going to use it. I'm so going to use it. So here is my boost for you. If you've lost someone you love, or you're going through a really hard time right now and you don't know what to do, think about what you're grateful for. These right here. These right here. And this right here. How about we start doing that, okay? Let's connect and boost each other. I love you all. This is for you, Timmy.